Let me now bring in NewsNation political contributor Denise Grace Gitsham. Denise, good morning to you. Let me start with the fact that Witoff and Huckabee are going to be in Gaza today. Of course, if we get a camera feed of the two of them in Gaza during show, we're going to take that live. But talk to me about the optics of that and this moment. Does that actually move the needle in alleviating, the humanitarian crisis or ending the war, or will that be more of a photo op?
Well, I think that anyone with a heart sees what's happening and they're shattered by it, right? Like, this is not a political issue. This is a humanitarian issue, what we're seeing in Gaza. The problem is we can't just give Hamas what it wants. Hamas is a terrorist organization that's been designated as such by every international organization, including America. And so we have to remember that going there and providing that direct aid with oversight by the U.S. and Israel is the only way we can ensure that Hamas doesn't continue to hurt its own people by diverting resources and, frankly, refusing to sit at the negotiation table like an adult and actually engage in serious conversations about bringing peace to their own region. So yes, it's optics because this is politics, and whether it's on a global stage or it's in a domestic stage, that's always important. America has to be not only actually, in fact, on the right side of history, but also seen as being such. But we also have to ensure that we don't do it at the expense of actual long-term peace and the welfare of everyone in that region.
The images coming from the ground, just sickening. Yeah. How might Netanyahu react to their visit, you think? He just said over the weekend there was no starvation in Gaza, yet the president said this week he disagreed with him on that. Now you've got these two key mediators, boots on the ground at these aid sites today. Is this going to irritate Netanyahu, and what does that do to negotiations, you think?
Oh, I'm sure it will. And listen, who can blame them? Israel is the victim. I think that's one thing that we continue to lose sight of as we talk about this. On October 7th, 2023, it was the deadliest day in history in Israel, in modern history of Israel. And so the fact that the victim is now being considered the aggressor by the international community that's suddenly done it, switched 180 on Israel because of political pressures on their home fronts, doesn't change the fact that Israel is still the victim in this. And there's a double standard being applied to Israel. So I would be frustrated if I was Netanyahu. But at the same time, Netanyahu, the political reality is that Netanyahu doesn't really have many friends left in the world. And so if America and President Trump are now saying something has to be done, he's going to have to concede and do something. And Israel has tried to help. I mean, they've actually funded and helped food get into Gaza. But the problem is Hamas refuses to allow that food to get to its people. So again, this is not a matter of Israel not trying to help the people in Gaza. It's a matter of Hamas not allowing them to.
And implementing the 10-hour-a-day, pauses starting this past weekend, pauses in fighting. In political time, Denise, in political years, midterms are just around the corner. They always say nobody votes off foreign policy. But do you think this conflict is different? And how consequential will this be for Republicans if Trump is able to end this war while he's in office?
Well, President Trump, this would be the ultimate feather in any leader's cap, right? Trying to quell thousands of years of history and aggression towards one another in the Middle East. That's the ultimate diplomat-in-chief, deal maker-in-chief's dream. And that's exactly what President Trump has done. You've seen his success over the last 6 months, bringing about global resolution to conflict globally. So this is something that he definitely wants. I don't think it's as big of a driver as we've seen always throughout history than the economy. The economy will always be at the top of the mind in the midterms, but you have seen that in the base of the Democratic Party, what you saw yesterday with a vote led by Bernie Sanders, is that there's a very real progressive base in the Democratic Party that's growing, where this is the lead issue for them. This is one of the very lead issues for them. And so I don't know what's going to end up happening on the Republican side. I think that the minority led by, Marjorie Taylor Greene, who's always been anti any sort of foreign engagement, is an issue. But I don't think it's a big enough issue to sway the Republican base. The Democratic base, however, is clearly being swayed by the progressive wing that thinks Israel is the enemy, when in fact Israel is our friend.
Well, only time will tell, but we'll continue to watch and this weekend see what comes next and of their visit today. Denise Grace Gitsham, thank you so much as always, my friend. Have a good Friday.
Thank you.